If you're failing right now, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why that is, why all human beings are quote unquote failing at life. We're going to unpack that in this video. And when you come away from this video, you're going to have a new sense of what you need to do in order to create the life of your dreams, the business of your dreams, right? If you're new to the channel, on this channel we talk about business and lifestyle design from the inside out, how to be a more conscious creator. I'm Mark Phillips. Let's jump into the video here. The thing of it is, we've got to go back before we come to the present moment and talk about why you're failing. We've got to talk about the backstory. If you grew up in the Western world, and most likely anywhere in the world, right? Western, Eastern, etc. I'm going to specifically talk from the frame of reference of the Western world because that's where I live in the United States. You've been conditioned to constantly look outward, right? Look to your parents, to your teacher, to your civic leaders, right? To your mayor, to your council people, to your governor, to your president, to all these officials outside of yourself for guidance, right? That's the problem, right? While it's fine to allow yourself to be guided by those people in certain areas, in certain ways, right? It's very detrimental to allow that to seep into your ability to create the things you want to create in the world, right? Because I know you have something in you that you want to create, some idea, something you want to make, something you want to be, something you want to do, or something you want to have, a thing or experience or some type of life that you want to have, right? When we're conditioned from the time we're born to constantly look outward to figures of authority for guidance and direction and instructions on how to do things and how to live our life, it can be very detrimental when we come online and say, hey, I want to create what's inside of me. I don't want to listen to you anymore, right? Because the thing of it is, if you're conditioned that way, if you've been conditioned your whole life, and I'm very familiar with this, right? I'm very familiar with this. This is why a lot of what I talk about on this channel is breaking free from the person that you have allowed yourself to become, right? That has got you to this point in life, and becoming who you were meant to be, right? Becoming who you want to be, right? We have all this social conditioning because we've been looking outward and we've been waiting for someone to guide us to where we want to go. And the thing of it is, no one can guide you to where you want to go. They can only guide themselves to where they want you to go or where they want to go, right? And that's the thing. Let's unpack that a moment. If someone's guiding you in some way, shape, or form, there's a high probability, 100%, they're either guiding you to where they want you to go or they're guiding you to where they want to go, right? Because they don't know you. No one can know us at the deepest levels. No one can know the ideas and the conversations that we have with ourselves, with our inner being and our physical self, right? With our conscious and subconscious mind, those intuitive hits we get, right? This knowing, hey, you should do this. This gut insight, gut feeling, hey, you should do this. We've got to let that go, right? We have to be self-oriented, and this is what I want to talk about in this video. We have to be self-governed, right? We have to be self-directed, right? And self-disciplined. All of these things, they don't come from looking outward. The real benefit comes from looking inward, right? Tuning into yourself, getting to know yourself, getting to love yourself. And that's the only way you're ever going to succeed in life, right? Because inside of you, you have a blueprint. Every one of us comes in with a blueprint. And on that blueprint are things that you wanted to create and do before you even came into this physical body, right? As a spiritual being, eager and excited to get into the physical realm here and get your hands in the clay and turn thoughts to things and build empires and do amazing things and go places and have experiences and have relationships. You had it all mapped out, right? What you were going to do. You come in and you're constantly surrounded by people that are quote unquote authority figures telling you what to do. And so you subjugate yourself, your blueprint of life to those other people. And then what happens, you get on in life. This is what midlife crisis is. Sometimes the midlife crisis happens in the 20s these days, right? You get on in life and you've always looked outward for the answers and for guidance and for instructions on how to live your life, to your counselor, to your teacher, to your pastor, to your ministers, parents, the thing is, none of those people know how you're supposed to live your life. You know how you're supposed to live your life. I know how I'm supposed to live my life. And this is our challenge. And I urge you, if you're struggling right now in life, I urge you to tune it all out. I mean, tune it out. Go within, because the answers you seek are in there. The instructions you need are in there on how to create a badass life and break free from the matrix that we're all living in, right? The societal matrix we're living in. You got to go within. So if you're failing, look within, tune it all out and go within. Govern yourself, guide yourself, instruct yourself. Now I'll tell you, this may be challenging depending on how long you've gone down the road of life, right? How old you are, right? But it can be done. You've heard of this term unlearning, right? It's popular now because people are starting to catch on to this. You go to school, and school, while it prepares you to read and write and maybe critical think, depending on what school you went to, it doesn't prepare you to be yourself. It homogenizes you, doesn't it? It makes you part of the herd. It makes you part of the conforming. It makes you conform. And that's bad. That's bad. If you want to be a rebel out there doing your own thing, which is what you are, right? As a badass conscious creator, you're a rebel doing your own thing, but you got this big ball and chain you're carrying around, this conformist ideology that is swirling around in your brain. You got to dump all that. You got to get all that out of there, right? The only way you're going to get where you want to be when you're experiencing the fun, freedom, and full self-expression that you came to experience is to let all that go. And that's going to be challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Depending on how deep, how tight you're holding on to it. See, I held on to it really tightly because I was a rule follower. I was a people pleaser. I was part of I conformed quite a bit. I really cared about what people thought of me. I really cared about doing the right thing, being a good student, being a good son, being a good worker. I cared about all that. I still care about all those things, but I approach them differently. And I know now that in order to be the best citizen I can be, the best son I can be, the best worker I can be, I got to be self-directed. I've got to be self-influenced, right? I can no longer rely upon anyone outside of myself to give me what I need, to give me my marching orders, so to speak. And that's what I did when I started my YouTube channel, the podcast, created the courses, and building what I want to create, right? And it's a unique fingerprint, just like your thing is going to be a unique fingerprint on the world, right? So depending on how tightly you're holding on to these ideologies that society has ingrained in you, it may be more or less difficult to let go of them, but you got to let go. The sooner the better. When I counsel and consult younger people these days, I tell them, I say, hey, get out of the matrix as fast as you can, because the longer you stay in, the harder it is to get out. Get out of the system. Right? You want to live outside of the system. There's freedom outside of the system. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's also scary. There are also pitfalls outside of the system. When you're in the system and you're going to work each day and a manager or a boss is telling you exactly what you need to do, how to do it to be successful, there's an element of comfort in that, right? There's an element of safety in that. However, you go home and in the middle of the night, you're faced with yourself and you have that sense that you're not fulfilling your purpose. You're not doing what you came here to do, because maybe you didn't come here to put widgets together in a factory, or let's say you work for Amazon. Maybe you didn't come here to pull packages and package them up and go for Amazon. Now, if you have to do that while you're building your dream, that's fine. We all have to make concessions as we go through life, right? As we extricate ourselves from the system. But don't push that down too long, too deep, because eventually it's going to come out in some way, shape, or form, right? You can't suppress the creativeness that are human beings. You can't suppress it. You can try, and it's going to manifest itself in some other type of dis-ease, guaranteed. So what I recommend to people, if they're deeply ingrained in the system, what I say is, hey, carve out maybe an hour a day to build what you want to build, right? To do what you want to do, whether it's starting a company or starting a content creation business, digital media company, speaking your truth, making what you want to make, all of those things, you know, carve out some time, because start doing it. And I recommend that you do it at a pro level right from the beginning. Doesn't mean you're going to have to be everywhere doing all the things, but consider yourself a pro player right from the beginning, right? Don't say, I'm just a hobbyist, I'm just an amateur, because that kind of thinking is going to be infused in what you do. Go pro right from the beginning. However you need to do it, extricate yourself slowly from that matrix. And I also offer consulting around this area, this topic. Believe me, I've walked that path and I'm still walking it. I don't think we're ever going to reach a point when we're completely out. It's a continuum, like everything in life. I talk a lot about continuums. If you want coaching and consulting on this, reach out to me at gmarkphillips.com/consulting. I would love to share what I've learned on my journey and some of the tools and tricks that I picked up to help you get there faster, to extricate yourself faster, because I guarantee you're never going to be the happiest person you can be if you're living inside of the system that was created to make you conform and to take away your autonomy, right? And give you your marching orders, because you're a sentient being. You came in with your marching orders, right? It's a blueprint that's inside of you, encoded in you. And you came here to do that, to make that. And by the way, when you make that, we all benefit, right? So before I leave you, I also want to let you know that I've created a course designed to help you get self-oriented, get self-governance of yourself, right? It's called the 7 Pillars of Personal Development. It's all about building and supporting the internal structure that can support the life that you want. And I'm working on a couple of new modules that are talking a lot about what I'm talking about in this video, right? This idea of orienting yourself to you. Right now, I'm offering a free one-on-one consultation, a bonus consultation, I should say, when you sign up for the course. That's you and me talking one-on-one. So you're going to get a consultation if you purchase the course. You can find it at gmarkphillips.com/courses. I got to tell you, get out while you can. I'm not knocking society. I'm not knocking the matrix. Like I say, some people don't want to get out, and I support them in that, right? It's challenging to get out, but it's also worth it. It is oh so worth it, right? Because I know, like me, I know that on your deathbed, you want to say, I did what I came here to do. I created what I came here to do. I became the person that I was destined and meant to become, right? You don't want to die saying, what if? You don't want to die saying, I wonder if I would have had the courage or had the discipline to pursue what was in my heart. I wonder what would have come of that. You don't want to be that on your deathbed, right? Leonardo da Vinci says, just as I'm going to get this quote a little bit off, but you get the idea. Just as a productive, well-spent day brings restful sleep, a well-spent life brings peaceful death, right? That's how we want to die. Knowing we did it all. We came here, we conquered ourselves, we conquered the doubt, we conquered opinions of other people, right? We rose above it, we were strong enough to take it and make it happen. We want to die leaving it all on the playing field. You don't want to carry any regret with you. That's the thing that drives me every day, right? That's the thing that's driven me for 8 years. To get up consistently and do what I'm inspired to do and what I love to do, despite external experiences, because you know it. It can take 10 years to be an overnight success. It could take 20 years to be an overnight success. But that's what you came for. That's what we all came for. Check out the course. Check out my consulting, gmarkphillips.com/courses or /consulting. I'd love to help you on your journey. Create the things you want to create in the world. I want to compress the time frame. I want to save you a bunch of money, time, frustration, all that. I love you. I appreciate you watching this video. If you liked it, if you got any value, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'd love to have you on the journey. And also, I would love to have you on my mailing list, right? We never know what's going to happen on the platforms that I post this stuff, right? gmarkphillips.com/subscribe. Subscribe to my mailing list. When you do, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of tools that I call tools for conscious creators. And they're tools that all of us can use in order to create the life that we want to create, right? Lots of good stuff in there. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day. Until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.